And So Close to Greatness video project, episode 1. Here goes absolutely nothing. Hi, Sean.
Hey, Robbie.
Welcome to the So Close to Greatness video hour for a half an hour. We're going to come up with a better title. Wow, we're just slamming hard right out of the gate, aren't we? We're going to come up with a better title after that. But what we're doing right now is, it doesn't make sense to talk about film on the radio.
Yeah.
You know, if it's film, and we're good-looking guys, wouldn't you say?
I think we're just two of the handsomest devils.
Just two of the handsomest devils. Yeah. So what we're doing, Sean, is something completely new. It is So Close to Greatness on video. And what does that tell you? It's the first one. Mm-hmm. That means it's an origin story. So I want to... We're going to have a little something in the background that is in and of itself an origin story. We're going to watch basketball while we record this episode. Now, Sean.
Yes, sir.
Do you know who Blake Snyder is?
No.
He's a Hollywood writer.
Okay.
Have you ever seen the movie Blank Check?
No.
Oh, okay. First off, it's one of the greatest original Disney films ever.
Oh.
But he wrote that. So he has a definition of like 10 different genres. And it's not comedy. It's not drama. He has superhero. He has why done it. He's got a ghost in the house. He comes up with his own genres. And his definition of a superhero film is: an extraordinary person finds himself in an ordinary world. Human superheroes that are challenged by the mediocre world around them. The tiny minds surrounding the hero are the real problems. Born into a world he did not create, the superhero must deal with those who are jealous of his unique point of view and superior mind. He places an emphasis on sympathy. It's why the first superhero film usually works, like Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
Or, He cites RoboCop, where the first film, the origin, creates sympathy for the character, which makes a superhero relatable. Mm-hmm. In the second film, RoboCop 2, it sucked because you lose that sympathy. You lose what made that character great, and you lose what humanized that character.
Okay.
Because you're not focused on the origin, and then it gets lost in all the things people try to do with sequels.
That's really cool.
So his idea of a superhero is basically somebody who's not pleased with the world around them and has to change it. Mm-hmm. By that logic, basketball is a superhero film. Because they are not pleased with the state of professional sports. They create their own sport where players are not allowed to be traded. No one can sign multi-million-dollar deals. Mm-hmm. Even quoted in the film is like, the same guys with bad backs and bad knees can play on the same field as guys who are all goosed up on steroids. So it's a superhero film.
Okay.
I'm just going to say that. That's all I'm going to say about it. We have a lot to talk about today. Sean, would you tell our viewers at home what our topic for the day is?
Our topic for the day is 2018 as a whole for movies, and how we have liked the movie so far and what we are excited about coming up this summer and the rest of the year.
So you and I seem to agree that 2018 has been pretty damn good for film so far.
Yeah, it's much better than the last couple of years.
Yeah, I would agree, and there's some things coming up that would disagree with that, but I think the quality overall has been better. Mm-hmm. And I want to favorite movies of the year. What have you seen that you've loved? Let's not start with the obvious, because we all know what the obvious is.
Yeah, exactly.
I talked about that for 2.5 hours the day after it came out on the actual podcast.
Oh,
so
man.
Let's not worry about the obvious one. But
it's going to dominate for a while.
I mean, Jesus H. Christ, whatever. I'm just going to say it. Yeah. This isn't a family show. It could be, if you trust your kids and you watch it with them and you explain the context, that sometimes people swear because they just do. Passion. Thank you. Because passion, people.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. All right. So, your favorite movies of the year, Sean?
All right. Well, we had our episode on Game Night. I think I've explained why I love that movie so much.
God, I love that movie.
That movie was pretty great.
It's because it's a brand new, it's a new twist on comedy, which I think we're going to see next week. Oh, by the way, as of recording this, it is Thursday, June 14th, and Tag comes out tomorrow.
That's right.
Okay, so yeah, I think we're going to see the same thing with Tag, just based on the silly action sequences and the use of hyper slow motion in the trailers. I think it's just going to be, I think comedy hopefully is getting a rebirth.
I think so
because
too.
it needs to be explored a little more.
Yeah, I agree.
Just like the Quentin Tarantino-esque single shot take in Game Night, and basically just how well put together that film was as a comedy in general. It's new. It's a new kind of comedy, which I greatly appreciate. Anyway, more of your favorite movies of the year.
Let's see. We did Black Panther as well, and that was a great movie for this year. It
Absolutely.
started it off really well.
Yep.
I will say that although it did not rise above the first one in my heart, that Deadpool 2 was one of the better movies I've seen this year so far.
I would agree completely. It did not live up to the first one. As a sequel went, it was all right. I kind of felt like it was trying to be like 3 different movies.
I think that would be fair.
You know, it just kind of like and spoilers if you haven't seen the film yet, which get off your ass and go watch it. It's still a good movie.
Yeah.
Still a lot of LOL moments.
I think that they have done a good job of using that movie to set up Deadpool as the fans of the comics know him now. Time traveling, complete wall breaking, and yeah, I think the origin movie did great, did justice, and this movie with Cable setting him up.
So you think this is more of we're seeing more of the comic Deadpool.
Absolutely.
And this was a setup film probably more than anything.
I think so.
Probably like Back to the Future Part 2.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point.
Which I still think is the better of the best of the 3, but whatever.
Yeah.
Because that, I mean, you know, if we're talking about 3 different storylines and Back to the Future Part 2, it's just like, you know, you go from 85 to 15 to 55 to 85 back to 50 or no, 15 back to 85 back to 55 back to 85, and then at the very beginning of the third one you go to 1885. So there's a lot of jumping around. There are a lot of different storylines in that film. I thought they handled it very well, but Deadpool, like, they put so much emphasis on the X-Force in the trailers. I expected more than that. I was very pleased with the Brad Pitt cameo.
Yeah. I was Terry Crews.
Oh god, Terry Crews. Terry Crews in general. I just want to see more of him everywhere.
Yeah.
At some point, I want to be friends with him.
Yeah.
I think he and I are the kind of people that could be like, let's talk about shit, Terry.
Shout out to Terry.
Shout out to Terry Crews.
Yeah.
Yeah. First shout out of the episode.
There you go.
8.5 minutes in. Wonderful. So you never got a chance to see, because your phone had an accident.
Yeah.
It peed the bed.
It did.
And we were going to have a big episode where we talked about 3 movies.
That got into the...
A Quiet Place, Rampage, and Isle of Dogs. All of which are fantastic, and all of which, I mean, again, I'm not mad. I understand life happens. I can't stress that enough, because I love you like a brother at this point in our relationship with the podcast. But God, that would have been such a great episode. A Quiet Place was a very original horror film. Isle of Dogs is one of the best plateau films that I've ever seen. You know, it didn't go like this as far as like action and anything like that. It was if anything, it was a very slow but steady rise to the climax, which I loved, because I was never bored, but I also wasn't like enthralled the whole time. There was some magic about that film where it just, by the way, excuse me, folks at home, excuse me, I'm getting over a sinus infection.
Oh.
So if I sniff into the mic, there's no editing that out. There's just not. And I've lost my voice, so I'm just not as loud and boisterous as I usually am. Whatever, don't judge me. Shut up, Sean.
We'll turn it up.
But the Isle of Dogs was just such a beautifully done film. The style, the stop motion is one of my favorite forms of film. It was very captivating for being so slow, which you have to really understand the message of your own film to pull off something like that. One of the films that we're not supposed to talk about, but I'm going to, is Infinity War. One of my friends said that he didn't like the film where they brought Vision to the compound where they met Bruce and Rhodey, but even that as slow a scene as that was, it still packed a punch because it was getting all of these people together who hadn't seen each other since Civil War or hadn't been in the same room together since Civil War.
Right.
Bruce hasn't been on the planet since Age of Ultron. So you got to look at what the scene or the film itself has to offer, and I really do think that Isle of Dogs did that so well. It knew exactly what it was, and it never wavered. And I think it was better off for that. There was trust in that film.
Yeah.
And it trusted the audience, I think. Also, I don't think it's a kid's movie. I was in a room, I was in a theater with a crap load of kids, and I was, at some points, I was like, you shouldn't be here.
Yeah, Wes Anderson, he'll fool some audiences into seeing the happy-go-lucky everything, setting, characters, and then it gets into some really adult content and subject matter.
For sure.
It's home for adults, but a lot of kids shouldn't necessarily be exposed to it.
Have you seen Rampage yet?
No, I haven't seen Rampage.
You haven't seen any of the 3 movies we were supposed to see
not
3
get to
months
see
ago.
those, no.
Good Lord, man. Okay, Rampage was fantastic. It was The Rock running around being a badass with a couple of funny moments. And I'm going to tell you why I love The Rock right now. It's because he knows exactly what he's good at. He never tries to reinvent the wheel. He just tries to entertain, which has gotten lost somewhere along the way where, like, every movie has to be the biggest, it has to be the best, it has to be blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It just make it entertaining. And if it's a pile of shit, believe in the pile of shit. Not that Rampage was, but if it's a pile of shit, know that you're making a pile of shit and just kind of embrace it.
Yeah.
Like, why would you not at that point? Like, this movie is not gonna break records, but God damn it, I'm having fun doing it. You know? Like, why would you not?
Yeah.
So those are some of my favorite. Black Panther, obviously. Game Night. I still, upon thinking about it, I know that we both gave Strangers Pray at Night a terrible rating, but I still... It was, again, it was enjoyable.
Okay.
You know,
okay.
I got to shut my brain off for 2 hours, and I very rarely get to do that anymore. So, other than that, what other movies have I seen? I can't even remember any movies I've seen, but all the ones that, you know, we've talked about, all the ones that we didn't get a chance. There are a lot of good movies out.
Absolutely.
The other day, I had the morning off, so I went to see Infinity War and Deadpool again, both of them again. I've seen Infinity War 5 times now. Which we're going to take that as a segue because Infinity War has become the 4th film ever to reach the $2 billion mark. And I know what you're thinking, Sean. I know what you're thinking at home. You're thinking you've been told that it's the 5th film in history to reach the $2 billion mark. And I'm going to tell you why that's wrong. Can I tell you why that's wrong, Sean?
Please do.
Because Titanic... In 1997 to 1998, its initial release, it made $1.8 billion at the box office, which, adjusted for inflation, is probably $2 million now. Easily $2 billion now. Yeah. But inflation not included. In its initial run, it made $1.8 billion. It did not cross the $2 billion mark until it was reformatted to contribute to that god-awful 3D fad we had back in the... It was in 2012 that it got a re-release and it crossed the $2 billion mark. Does that count? No. No, it doesn't. Just like Will and Grace shouldn't be season 11 or whatever. It's not... Just because you have a reunion, just because you redo something, just because you repackage something, doesn't mean that it's the same thing. You know, Titanic had its chance in theaters. It won $1.8 billion. Fucking impressive for 1997. Like that's a shitload of money for that time, that period of time. Just because you re-release it, you repackage it, and you put a brand new bow on it, and you put it back out in theaters, that total, especially if it's only released for like a couple weekends or whatever, which I don't think the 3D release was, but like when they re-show, okay, so they're going to re-show the Alamo Drafthouse. They're going to re-show the original Jumanji film followed by the new Jumanji film at Alamo Drafthouses for one night.
Okay.
Are the tickets to that going to go to the original box office of those? No, it isn't. Why not? Because it's a one night only. It's a special event. Well, Titanic in 3D was a special event.
Right.
Why does that money go to the box office total?
And like, at what point do you stop counting the money that re-releasing Star Wars and its many edits into theaters?
Right.
Do
I don't
do
think
that?
I don't think you should.
No,
I think you should have
should-
Titanic,
Its original run, and that's the
and
the
then you
money
should
they
have
count.
Titanic re-released as a separate box office
Yeah,
entity.
there you go.
That's what I think.
There you go.
So that being said, Infinity War is the 4th film ever to cross the $2 billion mark in its initial run, which is all that matters.
Hey, I would argue that it's one of the most deserving just because of the accumulation of everything that it took to put this on. It is just incredible that they managed to do it. They have completely transformed, I think, how you tell a story through film in a lot of ways. And then I think Stan Lee and all of his friends should be proud that they have managed to translate their comic book stories into film stories
So well.
and so true.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just painstakingly true to themselves and to what they wanted their
Yes.
characters to be.
Completely agreed.
God.
I think that Infinity, like it seems like every new Marvel film is my favorite film, but I feel like this one, first off, Ant-Man and the Wasp is in a tough spot, but they knew that when they planned everything, so I'm sure it's going to offer something. Infinity War is my favorite just because it did address absolutely everything. I mean, even with the line that Stark gave Strange when they're on the Q ship, he's like, "It's you who doesn't understand that Thanos has been in my head for 6 years." That calls back to Avengers, Iron Man 3, Age of Ultron, It calls back to everything sent post Avengers because his actions have been captained by that ghost in his brain, you know? So I thought it was a great way to start to wrap up the first 3 phases. Marvel has said there might not even be a phase system going forward. They might just release movies, which I'd be all right with because at this point it just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know?
And I really liked also the line, "You're not the only one cursed with knowledge," when Thanos said that to Stark.
How the fuck does Thanos know Stark?
Right? Exactly.
How? He's the only one he refers to, and I've said this on every conversation I've had. I said it on the podcast. You and I just didn't get a chance to discuss it. He is the only one that Thanos references by name aside from Nebula or Gamora.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know that Doctor Strange is the master of the mystic arts. He doesn't know.
Yeah. But he's given special attention to Stark, but it also references a very similar outlook on the both of them, that they are both trying to do from their perspectives the best good that they can. And while Thanos is the mad titan and he is planning genocide, he
believes he's right.
Exactly. And Tony has always believed so firmly that he can find the rightness in his decisions, or the rightness, and then make decisions towards that rightness.
And while we're talking about stuff like doing what you believe is right, in any movie in recent memory, MCU or otherwise, when has the villain been that sympathetic? Killmonger maybe in Black Panther. His motives were justified by him, and you understood where he was coming from.
Right.
But where have you found a villain that sympathetic?
It's hard, man. You don't.
Exactly. You don't. It doesn't, and it's sympathetic to the point where when you look up the definition of protagonist, and we discussed this on the podcast too, it doesn't necessarily mean hero. You hear pro, you think positive. It's I'm gonna look it up right now. Why would I not? I have a freaking encyclopedia at my fingertips.
While you look it up, let me just mention that I just thought of it. You know, the same guy who played one of the most sympathetic villains also played one of the most ending up to be sympathetic anti-heroes in Cable.
Yeah, dude, Josh Brolin is just fantastic.
He is great. He's rolling.
A protagonist is defined as such. It's the leading character or one of the major characters in a drama, movie, novel, or other fictional text, an advocate or champion of a particular cause or idea. So when you think about the actual definition of protagonist, it doesn't say hero, it doesn't say anything like that. It's just like synonyms are advocate, supporter, campaigner, fighter, crusader, promoter, proponent. When you think about that, the protagonist in Infinity War won.
Yeah.
As in every film, the protagonist always wins.
Right.
That's why I got into an argument with a friend of mine about this. I think even though that we know there's a second one coming, it was a very well done standalone film. If you adjust how you view a protagonist,
right, and I think Crusader really defines Thanos right there.
Absolutely, easily a great way to start the summer as far as 2018 films are concerned. But let's take a look at this real quick. Right now, according to Box Office Mojo, I'm going to say that again. According to Box Office Mojo, they're with 78 movies so far this year in wide release. This is only wide release. The domestic box office total is $4.37 billion. The number one movie of the year so far has been Black Panther. 2007, we're just going to look at the totals right now. 2017, the domestic box office total was $10.9 billion. In 2016, it was $11.4 billion. And in 2015, it was $11.1 billion. So what we've seen so far is 2016 domestically has been the best year for films.
Especially considering that they're going to go through a big jump in the last month of the year coming up. Jeez.
So 2018 so far is not even halfway to that domestic, to even last year's domestic box office take, but it feels like the movies are better. Like I'm excited about more movies. Do you think, given that, the next bullet point is there's a complete and total lack of summer blockbusters. And again, with the definitions, as I do, a blockbuster is a thing of great power or size, in particular a movie, book, or other product that is a great commercial success. So really, when you think about it, Pogs are a blockbuster. Beanie Babies are a blockbuster.
Yeah. I mean...
Oops, All Berries, the cereal, was a blockbuster.
I don't even remember what that is.
God, it was Captain Crunch, but they removed the captain and just put all the berries, the Crunch Berries. So good. Oh, so good. I miss it so much.
Oh, no.
Jeez. God, I haven't had a bowl of cereal in forever. Anyway, so when we talk about the box office so far this year, you usually rely on the big summer blockbusters. Now they're kind of moving more towards
spring
and Christmas.
Yeah.
Because the number one movie of 2015 was The Force Awakens, and it was released around Christmas, like December 15th, I think it was. But usually summer has been like when people have nothing better to do than go on stupid family vacations to the Painted Desert or whatever, which is actually quite beautiful, or to go to the movies. You would think that the summer would still be the key time to release a film.
Right.
When you think about summer blockbusters, June, tomorrow Incredibles 2 comes out, which I'm excited for. The week after that is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Tag this weekend as well.
And Tag this. I don't really think that's going to be a blockbuster, though.
You don't think
comedies very rarely are.
Okay.
You know, you think blockbuster, regardless of whether or not Beanie Babies or Pogs are considered blockbusters, of great commercial success, you think those big, like Indiana Jones.
Okay.
Jaws or whatever, if that was even in the summer, I can't remember, but you think those big action films, you know? So Incredibles 2 and Jurassic World. In July, Ant-Man and the Wasp and Mission Impossible. And in August, August really has nothing except for Christopher Robin on August 3rd.
Yeah, that
which
doesn't...
I'm excited for. Not a blockbuster.
Yeah.
But there's this movie called Kin, which the trailer didn't even explain really what it was. It's like some an older and a younger brother find like this alien tech gun or something. I didn't get it, but it looks like it could have action. It could be a good movie. I just don't think it's going to be a blockbuster. So with the lack of summer blockbusters, and really if you look at the release of other films throughout the year, there's nothing big to push 2018 to even match 2017, at least for domestic. But you've also, I mean, Christopher Robin is going to be good. Mission Impossible should be good. I didn't know Teen Titans Go to the movies. I don't know what that is.
That's
Crazy Rich Asians on August 15th just sounds racist as shit. The Happy Time Murders. Have you seen that trailer?
I haven't.
It's like live action and Muppets meet.
Oh no.
Oh god, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be so good. It's kind of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, versus Meet the Feebles. Have you ever heard of that movie?
I have, yeah.
That's a bad movie. That's just a bad movie all the way around. I loved it so much. It's the entirety of it's on YouTube. Look, I don't advocate piracy at all, but Meet the Feebles is on YouTube in its entirety. Please go watch it. If you're 17 years of age or older. I guess I have to say that because it is rated R and for good reason. But I love that movie, dude. It was so bad. I actually had a nightmare about it the same night. Not really. The movie didn't give me a nightmare. It just seeped its way into a nightmare that I was already having. But if you look at the rest of the releases on, I mean, The Predator in September, which, maybe
we'll see more about it. Coming up.
The first trailer did not get me at all.
No.
The House with the Clock in its Walls has Jack Black in it. I'm a huge fan of him. Looks like it could be pretty good. Venom in October, really excited for.
Yeah.
And I know people have been excited for that for ever since Spider-Man 3 just botched the shit out of it. No offense to Topher Grace. Well, actually, slight offense to Topher Grace. Because don't do that to that role. Don't do that. Do not.
Yeah.
I don't care who the director is. As an actor, you got to make a choice, and I think he made the wrong one. Unless he was pressured by the studio, which apparently the production was to include that emo Spider-Man scene, which just...
Dumb. Bad moves.
The week after, 2 weeks after Venom, we get the Halloween reboot. Not even a reboot. It's a direct sequel. And, you and I were talking about that. That actually looks pretty good to me. I like the fact that Danny McBride wrote it, and I like the fact that he's quoted, or not, I don't know if I'm going to get the quote right, but he said, "There's more to life than dick and fart jokes, and to take on something new is terrifying, like in the best possible way." And the trailer looks good. It looks, corny, sure, but also good. Like I feel like I could watch that film. But I want to see the first one because if you haven't heard about it, Halloween released this year on October 19th. Halloween is a direct sequel to the very first film from 1978, I think is when it was released. Yeah. It's a direct sequel to the very first Halloween, which means it negates all the continuity from the other 10 films, basically. Yeah. Or 9 films or whatever.
From Season of the Witch.
They're either 10 or 11. But they didn't like where Rob Zombie went with the remake.
No.
They didn't like where the sequels in the 80s and 90s went, which who can fucking blame them? But it looks like it's true to the first film. And I can appreciate that. So that is something I am excited for. After that, you got Bohemian Rhapsody, which I know a lot of people are excited for. Don't go to karaoke on November 2nd, Friday night, because that song will be the most overdone song. Yeah. I can almost guarantee you Bohemian Rhapsody will be sung by anybody at any karaoke bar that night.
You know what I liked about the trailer is how they did 2 songs at a time and then 3 songs at a time for
they just mashed them all up. Yeah.
And they did it so well. They synced them up so well. It got me in the mood.
Yeah. It was... Yes. I had nothing else to say about that except yes, because I noticed that too. And not only did... I know very little about Freddie Mercury. I've heard stories, like when he was dying of AIDS, or dying of complications due to AIDS, he was having trouble recording a vocal part, and someone questioned whether or not he could, and then he just slammed a glass of vodka and said something like, give me one more take," and went in and just nailed it. So I know very little about Freddie Mercury and his life, but I think what we're seeing so far, and also I think Queen has had a hand in making sure this film is accurate.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. About it because I feel like that's going to be another one of those real films.
Right.
A biopic that is probably dramatized, but also very true.
Right.
And yeah, it just pumped you up with that mashup in the trailer. It was freaking awesome. And after that, Girl in the Spider's Web. What did you say before? So like, yeah, because that's what we asked for.
Yeah, we half a decade after the original, right? Okay.
Dr. Seuss's The Grinch. Like, do we need another one of those?
We really don't.
Especially I like Benedict Cumberbatch, but
God, it just doesn't sound good.
Yeah.
I was watching Ocean's 8 last night in theaters, and they had like a series of trailers for him in between other trailers coming up, and it was just so annoying. Just his fake voice. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like Crimes of Grindelwald, I guess is how we pronounce his name. I am excited about that. I like the first Fantastic Beasts a great deal. I'm saying a lot. I don't really want to. Creed 2.
Yeah.
Sure. I didn't see the first one. You told me to see the first one.
It's on Hulu. It's on Hulu. Yes, I was.
Right.
You got to see
it. All right. Jeez.
Do it.
Okay. I'm interested to see Ralph Breaks the Internet simply for the scene where all the Disney princesses are on screen at the same time.
I saw that too. It looks pretty
excited about it. Yeah. And then, of course, Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
I never would have pictured Jake Johnson as a Spider-Man, at least as a voice. But in the have you seen the trailer?
I have, yeah.
Oh, it goes so well. I almost didn't realize it was him, and then I was like, oh my God, that's Jake Johnson. And I love him. I love him as an act. I love him. Shout out to Jake Johnson, wherever you are.
You got number 2.
Hey! And then Aquaman on December.
That was a good one to cough on.
I was going to edit it out, but then you're right.
Oh, man. I love Jason Momoa, but I just don't have any faith.
I don't think that character, as they've made him now, can sustain himself for an entire film.
I've been a fan of Jason Momoa since freaking Stargate Atlantis. Jeez, that's when I first saw him, I think. And he's a great actor, but I think he got shafted into a contract that, well, I'm sure it's great for him overall, but I think he could make the character better.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. They could do better.
But also, I heard, I think it's true. Let's do this. Aquaman. I think the director is James Wan. Story by James Wan. Directed by
James Wan.
And he has done a lot of horror films, right? Oh, yeah, look at that. Death Sentence, Insidious, The Conjuring, Insidious Chapter 2. He also did Furious 7 and The Conjuring 2, which Furious 7, an argument could be made for horror film. Could it not?
I guess you could say that,
Because those films are just scary in general. Why are they so popular? It's terrifying. And then Aquaman. But we're going to get to that here in a second. But basically what we're looking at here, I mean, Mary Poppins Returns on Christmas Day and the Bumblebee Origin movie on December 21st. That looks decent. It's somebody other than Michael Bay doing a Transformers film, which is a breath of fresh fucking air.
God.
But we don't really have anything. There are big things. Like Creed 2 will probably be big. Fantastic Beasts will be big. Bohemian Rhapsody will be big. I'm just wondering if, with the complete lack of summer blockbusters, the domestic box office total is going to match 2017's. But the argument that I want to make is, a lot of what we have might be reboots or prequels or sequels, but a lot of them are original. Original ideas like Bumblebee. Just for a second, like that's an original idea. It's a spinoff. It's a prequel, but it's an original idea of getting to know an Autobot on a more asexually intimate manner, I guess.
Yeah. You could say the same thing about the Crimes of Grindelwald too. It's a very original concept.
Yeah, it is a sequel,
fresh.
but it's also super original because it doesn't look like it's going to have the same kind of like Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them vibe of the first film.
Right.
Bohemian Rhapsody is original. Halloween, even though it's a sequel, is going back to the roots, which is more original than any sequel or reboot that's been made recently.
Venom.
Yeah, absolutely. So it looks like, and this is where I think the Predator is going to fall flat, is because I think that the trailer looks like a rehash of the same old shit.
Yeah. Like, what did the other Predator movie that just came out a couple years ago with Brody and...
let's just not talk. Can we just not waste breath on it? I don't... I feel my voice going even hoarser, even more hoarse. However that's grammatically correct.
Yeah,
I just don't want to. I don't want to do it. I just don't, man.
They can't make you.
And they can't, this is my show. But I think what we're seeing is a lot of, and we were talking about South Park before we started recording, the member berries. People don't want to give up the past, but don't realize that it's not original. It's where all the worst shit comes from. Stop eating the member berries, people, okay? And just, like, embrace new stuff. I think if we keep going the way we're going with films this year, original, fresh, fun, energetic, people that are writing them or taking them seriously but still enjoy doing them and are taking the subject matter or the source material seriously. I think this is a good year for movies all the way around. And I'm just, based solely on hopefully Tag tomorrow is going to be awesome. Game Night was amazing. I really want Christopher Robin to do well because I think that's a new spin on telling the story of the 100 Acre Wood and Winnie the Pooh. I'm really happy with the way movies are shaping up because for the last couple of years I've been thinking about it's the same shit. But I think that movies are, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to I want to trust my audience. I think movies are getting newer and fresher to the point where it kind of drives people away. And that's why I know she lost her series, but the first episode of Roseanne was seen by 23 million people.
Right. And there are so many other great shows out there that don't get that kind of attention.
Right. Yeah.
It's riding on nostalgia, you know?
And it's not a good thing.
It's not. It's really absolutely not. And it makes a pass for bad writing in the end too. I think a lot of the problems that I've already talked to you about with Ocean's 8 is the fact that there were so many things that could have been better written, that could have been better plot-wise, just directionally, could have been progressed better, but even some casting could have been better or just completely different character overhauls could have been done. But the fact that it was an Ocean's 8 movie that
you slap a brand on it and all is
slap
forgiven.
a brand on it and all of a sudden it's just like, oh yeah, we just got to push it. That's the main thing is we just got to push it through, you know? And you can't do that.
No.
You got to be better.
Yeah. You have to be better. Speaking of better, so with not another film on the docket until Aquaman later this year, DC screws the pooch again.
I don't know, though, because the idea that you should have multiple movies released in a year is not panning out for Star Wars.
Well, yeah.
you know?
You're right.
I mean, there is such a thing as letting something breathe and allowing quality to just shine on its own and then not have to follow it up immediately and capitalize. So
let's say this, if I could flex my Marvel muscle again, which I swear to God I won't do every episode. Iron Man was released in 2008, and that was a make or break for the studio. If that film was a flop, they would lose all of their intellectual property that they offered up as collateral to the bank. There was no Marvel film in 2009. The only year since 2008 to not have a Marvel film released. And then 2010, they started doing 2 a year. So they let it breathe with the first one and then got their ducks in a row, eggs in their basket, chicks counted, whatever the shit, penny saved is a penny earned bullshit. And so they just started going. But after the failure of, and I say failure, I know they were box office successes. Like they've made 3 times, their box office earnings are 3 times their budget. So technically they're a success. You always want to make double your budget back. So technically it's success. But Batman vs. Superman was a shitty movie.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad was a shitty movie. God.
And they're giving him a Joker movie.
And they're giving a Suicide Squad 2.
Yeah,
like what
why?
At that point it's money talking.
Yeah,
it has nothing. It has everything to do with box office numbers.
We've established some characters. Let's just put them back on screen and make some money.
So Aquaman will be released 1 year, 1 month, and 6 days after Justice League, And Justice League was a huge disappointment. Admittedly, it's my favorite movie that the DCEU has released. I'm going to say it right now in front of God and everybody else. But it was my favorite one. To wait a year, a month, and 6 days after having Wonder Woman co-star or star in 3 films in a year and a half, is that too much time to breathe?
I think it's a signal to everyone out there who's paying attention that they are very shook. They've been
There's no
rattled.
such thing as a halfway crook or whatever. I don't know.
That entire studio is on the rocks, and I think a lot of people realize that they're not doing good enough to keep their jobs, let alone make great movies. You know, I think that they should be nervous for it all because it just isn't what it should be, and
it's not
at all.
I think it was my friend Justin who was on the Infinity War episode. I think you and I have agreed on this too, is that DC does comics better than Marvel, and Marvel does movies better than DC.
Absolutely.
Because I think that's
what
that's just an undeniable. I know there are DC apologists out there who are like, oh man, in the long run, these movies are going to win out.
It's hard to say that because up until the last couple of years, DC hasn't been one congruent, universe within itself. We have never had a live action Batman versus Superman movie. We can say all the cool stuff about the animated movies, and they both sides have great animated movies for sure.
Oh yeah.
But as far as live action movies, some of the best live action superhero movies were just Batman. Just Batman on his. Oh well. I guess that's an opinion up to
no. I mean, I
debate.
agree.
Yeah,
I agree. But just DC has just played it safe for so long.
I think that's true, and I think that they haven't really wanted to experiment with combining into one single universe like Marvel just jumped into and showed the world that this is exactly how you can do it, and this is how successful it can be.
If you do it right.
If you do it right.
Because
do it with respect.
I was looking at an article earlier today that said Star Wars and DC killed the shared universe or the extended universe or something like that. It's like it's crazy that we've had one successful go at it and everyone else who's tried to emulate it has just failed miserably.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just happened overnight. Mm-hmm. It's like people who look at fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger back in his heyday and it's just like, I could get ripped like that, and they work out for a week and they're like, I don't see any change in my body. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't happen overnight.
I think there is a thing, a stigma or just a mental presence in Hollywood too, that they want that immediate payoff. They don't like them. Yeah, they don't like the planning. They don't like the foresight aspect of it, or anyone who does have the foresight to it gets ignored.
That's when you don't get good movies.
Yeah.
That's why if people just wanted the payoff, we wouldn't have gotten that one-shot scene in Game Night that was so fucking good and made it a comedy that stood aside the rest and said, you guys keep doing the same shit. We're going to go over here and plan stuff and rehearse stuff and make something good.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the whole instant gratification thing because it pisses me off when it takes 5 seconds to download a song. Like, I get it. I understand it. But a movie is so many... That's why that beeped, is because that one stopped fucking recording.
No!
Shit, I lost my train of thought. I need to get some actual video cameras. If anyone's out there and wants to donate $10,000 so I can get 3 actual video cameras, that'd be great. God, I can't even remember what I was saying.
Planning ahead.
Yeah, planning ahead. Like, the movies have so many more working parts. I mean, I get a song, an album, a band. You have to have an engineer and a mixer and somebody to master it, and you have to have all these people doing different jobs. But on a film, you have key grip A, key grip B, key grip C, best boy, dolly A, dolly B, and then you have like the B unit where you have key grip A, key grip B, key grip, and like there's so many more working parts. It has to be. Sam and I were talking about this the other day. As soon as you have a script and a budget and your cast, time is literally money. Because you have that amount of money and a set of days to get something done. Time is literally money. You have to have that foresight. You have to plan ahead. And then when it doesn't work, why does the studio keep throwing more money at? Like, sure, Batman vs. Superman brought in like $860 million worldwide. I did not see a single good review of it. And it got ripped 2 years later in Deadpool with the whole Martha thing.
Yeah.
Like, it's a stain on the superhero genre.
Yeah.
And it's something that DC is going to have to work really hard to never let happen again. And so far, it's happened again with Suicide Squad, Justice League, and I'm going to get a lot of heat for this. It happened again with Wonder Woman. I really disliked that movie. It's just Zack Snyder needs to keep his hands out of other people's films. Let Patty Jenkins do her own thing.
That's fair.
That unnecessary slow motion all the way through.
That's fair, yeah.
The treatment of Diana Prince, even though Steve whatever, Captain America wannabe, knew who she was and then treated her like every other woman was treated in the 1940s.
Yeah.
When she came into our life. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. He knows exactly who she is, what she does, what she can do. She was not treated any differently than women of that time, which I might have been some kind of point they were trying to make or whatever, but it shouldn't have been. No. That was just a waste of a movie. I hated that movie.
I think that you're going to see if DC commits to trying to keep their universe congruent and intact, that it's going to be a complete overhaul, and they're going to restart the whole thing after Aquaman.
They used to have a shitload of, on the Wikipedia page, they used to have a shitload of films and their slated release date. Now, if you look at it, it's a constant state of flux. Like, Joss Whedon signed on for Batgirl. He's not on it anymore. They're actively looking for another director.
Good.
Like, it's just, they had all these plans, and it's all kind of fallen apart from underneath them, and they're trying to keep it, but they're not. And I'm dead ass serious, bro. If I could use slang of my day, I'm dead ass serious. Start over.
Yeah.
Scrap it. Yeah. Just go. Just let yourself have these last couple years. Start the fuck over.
Yeah.
And do it right.
Yeah.
Set up the trend. I mean, maybe don't recast Gal Gadot, because I legitimately think she's perfectly cast for Wonder Woman. But start the Wonder Woman series over again and let Patty Jenkins actually do her thing.
I could, We'll see if they let it happen. But they've invested so much money in the way that it is right now.
I mean, as of right, I don't even think, I could be wrong, I don't even think that Cyborg and Flash have their solo films slated yet.
Because they looked so bad. They were both so bad looking.
I'm gonna try to find a slate of what DC wanted to do and put it on the film, but they didn't have solo films for some of the main Justice Leaguers until after Justice League 2 at one point, which is just stupid.
Yeah.
And I think Justice League 2 was going to come a year or 2 years after Justice League 1. It just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're going to get off that. We're going to start wrapping things up here. Films we're looking forward to, man.
Yes.
We've already kind of gone through them, but what are you most excited about, bro?
Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom grabbed me with that volcano exploding, dinosaur extinction, complete aesthetic that I think everyone in the back of their mind wanted to see. Because, I mean, growing up, you had The Land Before Time, where the world was completely going to hell in a handbasket for these little dinosaurs.
Still makes me cry.
I know, right? But like seeing that terrifying T-Rex and the volcanoes going off and everything, there's just something very nostalgic about that. But also just like if you know about it, it's just like that's kind of the world that the dinosaurs themselves faced. Yeah. It was a complete state of flux with everything, and I'm excited to see a world like that and it being explored by humans, even if it is just for a quick 10 minutes while they, set the dinosaurs up on the mainland and have
the first trailer where all the dinosaurs are running and then they realize there's a cliff and they try to stop and then they still fall. Like an ankylosaurus or whatever falls into the water and starts like kicking.
Yeah.
Like my heart broke.
Yeah.
But I also think it's retreading the same ground as the second Jurassic Park.
I think so
because
too.
they're taking dinosaurs to the mainland, which we learned you should never do with
Nah,
a T-Rex
definitely
on a boat.
Oh man.
But I think hopefully it'll be different and better than the first one. I thought the first one was just cliche after cliche.
Yeah.
But
And like instead of actually having like real nature versus brought back nature and showing that, you shouldn't be doing that. It was more of a you shouldn't tamper with nature to the point of creating a whole new species when you don't know what that new species is going to do to you.
yeah,
It was,
I think hopefully it'll be better.
yeah, I agree.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yes.
Super looking forward
Yes.
to. What else are you looking forward to?
Ant-Man and the Wasp, I am very excited to see because I've read that it is going to be just a few months to weeks before the events of Infinity War.
You've read that?
I've read that
From who?
from a couple questionable sources now that you make me think about it. But
Okay. Here, you want to know my prediction?
okay.
Ant-Man and the Wasp happens simultaneously with Infinity War.
Okay.
It's the only way to explain Ant-Man's absence.
Okay.
It's the only way to explain why the Wasp is not in the leaked Avengers 4 concept art. Because she dusts at the end.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen.
So I think it happens at the exact same time in a... You know the play Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead? It's by Tom Stoppard. It takes place at the same time as Hamlet, but the two characters, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, are the main characters. It all happens simultaneously with Hamlet. Or how about Lion King 1.5?
Okay.
And Timon and Pumbaa. It happens at the same time. Does that make more sense
Yeah,
to you?
okay, yeah, sure.
So I think it's a Lion King 1.5 scenario.
Yeah, you got me with
Takes
that one.
place at the exact same time. They're going to explore the quantum realm, which is going to give us an access point to the Soul Stone, which is how they're going to find all the dead heroes. And Sebastian Stan has said that he filmed a scene where there were like 40 of us, everyone from Samuel L. Jackson to Michelle Pfeiffer to Michael Douglas. So why would they all be in the same room together?
Yeah.
If they weren't actively trying to either get out of the Soul Stone or fight Thanos. That's my theory. Happens at the same time.
I hope I am excited to figure out if your theory is correct because this movie, God, it looks like it's gonna show a completely new way that their mechanics are gonna work out.
And honestly, I don't think any other film could follow Infinity War.
Yeah,
I think this is because Infinity War was so overwhelming in scope. You have to go smaller.
yeah, clever.
Which again, with my friend Justin pointed it out that Ant-Man followed Age of Ultron, and its stakes were so much smaller that the biggest battle happened in a little girl's room.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think they're using it.
Juxtaposition.
Yeah, I think they're. Is juxtaposing a word?
It is now.
I think they're juxtaposing it that way on purpose.
Hashtag juxtaposing.
Juxtaposing. Venom, really excited about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I think there's, to not rehash what we just spent like 15 minutes talking about, I think there's just so many good movies coming out this year that 2018 to me has been my favorite year of film so far.
Well, let me hit you with a couple movies we haven't mentioned yet. First off,
Go.
First Man, starring Ryan Gosling as Neil Armstrong. I am actually very excited for this because we haven't, I don't think, ever really gotten a dramatic movie like Apollo 13 got for their astronaut team as to the first moon landing. And it is, I mean, having Ryan Gosling as Neil Armstrong is just so drawing, in my opinion.
Here's one we haven't mentioned.
Okay.
Johnny English strikes again.
Oh, God. I saw that one. I was hoping we could avoid that.
No! Yeah,
Oh, man.
I'm kind of excited. That just my inner child on that one is like.
Good Lord. We have another interesting outlier called Destination Wedding, starring Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder.
I'm sold on Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
I hate Winona Ryder, but my love for Keanu trumps my hatred for her.
I'm actually really excited. This looks like
What
a very
is this
nihilistic rom-com where two miserable and unpleasant wedding guests, both pariahs at this affair, develop a mutual affection despite themselves. I think it's going to be a little funny. I think it's going to be a little heartfelt at times, but I think it's going to be a very good tribute to the way love is seen in today's society.
Okay. Here's one for a personal reason.
Okay.
Alita Battle Angel.
Oh, yes.
I was an extra on that.
Were you really?
I was.
Wow.
Yeah. I spent 2 nights in Austin, like mind-numbingly cold nights. We weren't allowed to have our phones. We barely had a space heater. I worked probably for the 17 hours I was on set. I probably worked about 2.
Oh, man.
Because we basically all just huddled under a tent until they were ready. And film is hurry up and wait. Mm-hmm. So I want to see that. Just to see if you can see me.
There we go.
Which I don't think you can because I never saw a camera. And rule of thumb is, if you can see the camera can see you. Hi.
Let's see what else. They're making another Mowgli movie, another Richard Kipling story about the Jungle Book. This time we have Benedict Cumberbatch as Shere Khan, Christian Bale as Bagheera, Kate Blanchett as Kaa, and Andy Serkis as Baloo. So this is...
I love Andy Serkis, by the way.
Him. I love him too. It's interesting that just, I guess, was it 2 years after the Disney release of their version, they're going to go ahead and try and do this? Who's making this? Oh, Warner Brothers.
Good fucking luck.
All right? Like, what are you doing? What... I will say this looks like a little bit more intense and a little bit more serious, where there's actually, like... I don't know. I thought Disney did a good job actually because they showed Shere Khan being brutal.
Sure, yeah.
But I don't know.
Last one, Dumbo.
Oh yeah.
Is that coming out this year?
I don't know if that's this year. Or,
I might be completely and totally wrong. I thought it was. Keep looking. Keep scrolling.
I've got one.
Nothing wrong with dead air.
I've got one for you actually. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but Holmes and Watson.
Haven't no.
Starring Will Ferrell.
And John C. Reilly.
Hell
yes. All right. Okay. I'm excited. All right. So we've already gone on far too long. I wanted to keep this at 30 minutes. And as usual, we kept chatting each other's ears off. Mm-hmm. Well, let's just go ahead and conclude why 2018 has been pretty badass so far. There are more ambitious comedies. Mm-hmm. There seems to be more honesty in general among the films. Seems like people writing reboots and sequels are taking the subject matter seriously and treating them with the respect they deserve instead of just slapping a brand on something and calling it done.
And when they're not, they are getting punished for it. Thank you, people boycotting movies like that.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The overall quality seems to be going up. Mm-hmm. It seems like there are producers on set who legitimately want to earn their producer credit or producer title and want the characters to be more honest to the character, which I can greatly appreciate. And after all that, a bit of advice, and this is what we're going to close the show out on, Sean.
Okay.
Stop eating member berries! Just let the future be the future. Yeah. Let the past rest. Because it wasn't all great. No. Everyone shut up.
Grab some originality while you can.
Yeah, grab some originality by the throat.
Yeah. Eat
or
it.
Balls.
Eat it.
And also eat it.
Yeah.
By the ball. What?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. This has been So Close to Greatness. My name is Robbie Clark. This is Sean Rojas. Thank you for joining us for episode 1 of the So Close to Greatness variety hour for a half hour. Gotta come up with a better title than that. Guys, thank you so much for watching if you've made it this far. I might put the audio version up as well.
Why not?
Why the fuck not, right?
Yeah.
So, everybody, from me to you, thank you for joining us on this new endeavor. And, Sean, thank you for being here.
Absolutely, my friend.
I hate cheersing water, but I'll do it. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
We will.
Oh, so you get the last word now?
No, you do.
No, you shut the fuck up. Oh, you get the last laugh now. I hate you, Sean.